lot of the protocols are doing is they're grabbing their vote weight during pre-sale or shortly afterwards when we do our live launch on Kyoto, so that they can grab their vote weight at the low price. As far as like single staking, that's not an option that we've explored to allow people to accumulate oBURN. We do have a single staking coming once our second treasury mechanism gets kicked into gear, but that will allow users to stake their oBURN and earn BUSD as a drip.
Okay.
Which, of course, you can use the auto compounder, compound it, and from there you'll be getting more oBURN.
That sounds cool. So when does pre-sale did begin? I did buy some. Pre-sale began quite a while back. I remember buying some. Was it on a different website in a different DApp?
So initially we were going to launch on Polygon, and we had just started our pre-sale, and then we wound up stopping the pre-sale because we agreed as a team that moving to BSC was going to be infinitely better for us as a protocol. Opened the door to a lot of new relationships. So we paused that pre-sale shortly after it began, migrated to BSC, migrated those current individuals over, and then ran our pre-sale on Kyoto's launchpad, and that one ends tomorrow. Less than 24 hours remaining, and then we do our live launch on their decks.
Okay, somebody might be in the same position as I am. I bought on Polygon, and then I bought on Kyoto. I bought more.
There you go.
But my balance from Polygon is not reflected on my Kyoto balance, so I'm not sure.
No, what we did for anyone who had started on the Polygon network during that initial fire up of a pre-sale is we automatically migrated them. We airdropped them the oBURN on BSC based off their wallet balance, and then Kyoto, when the pre-sale there ends, you'll be able to claim your oBURN tokens. At which point you'll click on the claim button. It'll take you over. It'll withdraw those tokens and add them to your wallet balance, and you'll be good to go.
Kyoto does some nice things for protocols. I'm aware they gave you basically a direct credit line of USDC or BUSD. Am I wrong?
Credit line?
Not a credit line, but you're able to do auto LP, or am I thinking of a different protocol?
I think you might be thinking of a different one. With Kyoto, they have a regenerative finance decentralized exchange where a portion of all the DEX fees goes to planting trees, etc.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay, yeah, what they are doing for us, and the reason why we selected Kyoto is because they're going to be doing custom routing for us to a smart contract that we created that will allow us to capture that buy tax of 10% on our token as BUSD without anyone needing to adjust their slippage or gas or anything like that. It'll just automatically scoop that off the top. That way we're not having to then apply any sell pressure to our token in order to utilize those funds for sell burn.
That's what I was referring to. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your DApp is basically the voting DApp and whatnot. That's not released yet.
That will go live when we go live tongue-tied there. That'll go live when we go live on Kyoto Swap on our website. And yeah, our Burn DApp will be there on our website. That's where people will partake in their voting. We're waiting to have that go live because that's when voting begins. We don't want anyone who maybe did have some tokens migrated from when we first had that pre-sale, start voting already. We want everyone to be voting when voting opens.
Right. $50,000. That's a big burn. And is that spread between the top 5, or does the top burn get $50,000, a full $50,000 buy of their token in burn?
Yeah, so our February Hello World moment is we're kickstarting that buyback and burn pot with 50 grand, and it is distributed across the top 5 projects. First place gets the most, obviously. They get 60% of the funds, so they're guaranteed. Whoever wins first place, they'll get a minimum of a $30,000 buyback and burn on their token or NFTs. Second place would then get 10K, third gets 5K, etc. So we scale it down. Most of the protocols that are going to be coming in, like third, fourth, and fifth, are going to be the smaller ones. And so they'll still have a pretty solid impact on their price chart. One of the protocols that we've been chatting with, Moeta, they have, if they won, what was it, fourth place, it would still wind up being like a 20% price impact on their LP because they are a smaller protocol. So that's why we scaled it that way. So the big guys coming in first get a pretty solid price impact. We ran the numbers on Kyoto. They would get a 40% price increase on their token if they won first place. Sphere would get like a 18% price impact in a positive manner, and they're a pretty big protocol, right? So that's why we set it up that way. And the cool thing is, you don't really, in the BurnWars, right? We do this every month. February is our big kickstart pot because it's a shorter month. It's the first one we're doing, and we wanted to, set the world on fire with a bit of a bang there. But moving forward, like for March, we'll precede the burn wallet with some funds at the beginning of the month. And then all of the buy transactions that occur on our token over the entire duration of March, feed that pot, make it bigger. So if, let's say, across the entire month of March, we have a total of about 500,000 in buy volume, which is relatively standard, then you'll have another buyback and burn pot with 50K plus what we preceded the burn funds with at the beginning of the month. And so this goes on and on and on. But to prevent people and protocols from being able to come in during pre-sale, scoop up a big chunk of the supply, and then just essentially dominate the burn wars from there on out, in order to vote for yourself or vote for a project that you want to see win, you have to back your vote with weight. The way you back your vote with weight is you take some of your oBURN that you're willing to see go bye-bye, and you burn it when you're doing the burn vote. You'll be able to type in how much you want to back your vote with weight, and then it adds that much to the project. And you can see it right there on the leaderboard. Those numbers will update, and you'll be able to see it affect the ranking of the protocol you're voting for. This way, nobody can dominate, and it creates that deflation on our token and that price appreciation as they're having to come back and get more ammo each time.
So if I were to accumulate $5,000 worth of oBURN and burn it all, does that increase my ranking?
Yeah, it would, because it's based off of the amount of oBURN that you're burning. And if you're looking at, some of the protocols, maybe one that put in like 20 grand, right? What you can do, you're like, all right, so my 5,000 isn't really going to be able to compete with them in this situation.
Especially if they burn the whole 20 grand.
Right. So you apply some strategy to it. You say, okay, I know that when they do their voting, they're going to be firing off their ammo, and then they're not going to have 20 grand worth of oBURN. So I'm going to wait until March. At that point, let's say token price is up. Let's say it goes up 3x. Now your 5 grand is $20,000 worth of oBURN. And since it's based off of amount of oBURN burnt, not the dollar value of it, it would cost them 20 grand to now be able to compete with you.
It's true. It's true. So since it happens every month, you can make a strategy to pick a month that you're definitely that you want to win.
Exactly.
and you can see maybe this protocol or that protocol has February, March, April on lock, but May might be a contender where you can focus all your marketing and energy on getting in the top 5 or top 3. I wouldn't want to. I'd want to be the top. I'd want to be the top protocol to get that burn. 50 grand is a crazy burn. Where exactly do the funds come from after the February burn? For the March burn, where does all the BUSD come from?
Yeah, so we'll be preceding the March pot with somewhere around 10K in BUSD, so that on that very first day, there's already something there for projects to fight over, of course. And then what happens is all of the buy volume throughout the entire month of March, that tax off each purchase makes that pot larger. So that refers to our earlier example where if you have 500,000 in volume come through in March, that's another 50 grand in the pot, plus what we preceded the pot with at the start of the month. So you'll see voting get a lot more aggressive, a lot crazier closer towards the end of the month when people see, okay, wow, this pot is getting bigger. Now I'm comfortable spending more to try to get first place, etc. Because protocols, it's going to be important for them to work out a cost-benefit analysis. Be like, okay, there's this much pot. For first place, we get this. So we're willing to do up to this. But then if that pot gets bigger, now they got to recalculate what they're willing to do.
Well, can you explain how it absolutely is not pay to win?
Yeah, so via the strategies, right? And that's where you prevent it from being pay to win, because let's say again, a big protocol comes in and they're going for March or something like that, right? And they're buying their tokens during the month of March, and token price is just for sake of math, we'll say 3x from launch price. If you're a protocol and you got in earlier into oBURN and you're hanging on to your ammo, then by the time they're coming along trying to compete in the month of March, you'll be on a similar level with them, right? Because they're going to have to essentially spend more to get the same amount of oBURN. Plus, there's other mechanisms in place, such as our vote boosting NFTs that are coming out in March. And we can dive into those here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it really boils down to a couple of different factors. One, the strategy that you're taking going into it. There's 7 different strategies I've identified for leveraging our ecosystem. The soldiers in your army, and that's your community, right? And then what additional boosters you may have, right? Coming down to those NFTs right there.
Okay, can you explain the NFTs?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll drop some examples of those here in the AMA questions room just for people to see. And then All right, so we have 3 different tiers that are coming out in March. Tier 1, there's only 1,000 of them, but we're not releasing all of the NFTs all at once, right? We're doing the mints in stages. The first stage, only 33% of each of the tiers will be available. Now, these tier 1 NFTs, if you have one in your wallet, when you go to do your vote, it will boost your vote weight by 25%. So if you're burning 100 oBURN to vote for Lodge Capital, it would count as 125.
Okay.
And then this is one of our tier 2 NFT examples. Now the tier 2s, yeah, they're pretty cool. We like them. The tier 2s, there's only 500 in total. Again, only 33% of that will be available during stage 1 minting. And those guys boost your vote weight by 50%. So,
Wow.
right.
And how much is the mint price of the different tier 1, tier 2?
Yeah, so tier 1 during stage 1 minting, it's $100.
Okay.
Tier 2 during stage 1 minting is $250.
Okay, what do you mean by stage?
Right, so we're doing the minting in stages where we're releasing certain amounts of the supply each time, right? 33%. Okay. This way, we're not flooding the market with available vote boosting NFTs, right?
That's smart.
Thank you. We release it as demand grows. As we see that floor price creeping up, it means there's a lot of protocols attempting to use these to boost their votes. And that's the time when it's like, okay, time to move into the next stage, release a little bit more of those guys. And then these are our tier 3 as an example. Let me grab this one and this one. Second. Not what I meant to do. There we go. All right. So the tier 3s, there's only 250 of them. That's all there will ever be. And these guys, again, only 33% will be available during stage 1 minting, and they'll be going for 400 apiece, but they boost your vote by 100%. So
it doubles it.
Correct. And now you see the different mechanisms that we're making sure are available to smaller protocols to be able to compete. And that's why those are restrictive. We're restricting how many are going to be out there across each stage. We're restricting the total amount of the mint supply once they're all minted out, again, there's only 250 of those tier 3s. Right. And keeping it tight, keeping it low.
What are the tokenomics of oBURN as far as initial supply being sold in pre-sale, team supply, marketing supply, circulating supply, maximum supply?
Yeah, so our tokenomics, we have an initial token circulation of 130 billion, and that will be the ones that are circulating across holder wallets, LP, etc. The total oBURN, and the majority of which is locked into reserves, and I'll get to why here in a second, but the total is 975 billion, with 130 in initial token circulation. The hard cap of our pre-sale is 87.5 billion. And then
okay, thank BTK Radio posted the allocations here.
Yeah.
Keep going, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have like it shows right there in the token allocation, 8.75% is allocated towards the chain bets betting pool. Mm-hmm. Chain bets, are you familiar with them?
No.
They basically have a casino style website where you can take tokens from protocols that have onboarded into the system. Oh, I see Burn Juice says that there's no audio on YouTube.
Okay. Well, we'll have to fix that another time. This is my first time.
Yeah, no worries. We do have audio being recorded in Discord by BTK.
Great.
So maybe that can sync. No, thanks for letting us know, Burn Juice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we actual uploaded videos perform better anyway. So if we take the recorded video, throw the audio on top, and upload it, I'll do that. Anyway, the tokenomics.
Yeah. And so we have over the life of the protocol, that 1.1% allocated towards marketing purposes. We're being very stingy with that. That's what, like our contests and things like that, that's where that comes from. Team allocation, there is that 4% team allocation. We haven't used 4% of it. It's mostly for our project outreach guys who have been doing a bang up job connecting us with the protocols. Give them a little something, that way they have that as we bootstrap our treasury revenue mechanism. And that's where that's where future team salaries and whatnot come from. I personally am not taking a salary from the ecosystem. I want to be able to make sure that as much of the revenue we generate as possible can get put back into the ecosystem. And let's talk about, thank you. You want to be able to grow your protocol as quickly as possible, not sit there, go and
a good outreach guy or gal or team is one of the most valuable things you can have.
100%. But let's talk about why the bulk of the supply is locked up in the Gnosis safe reserves. So whenever you have a deflationary token, right, and people are buying tokens out of the LP and then burning it to vote, you're going to wind up with this huge skew where there's not a lot of the oBURN token in the LP compared to the BUSD in there. That's great for price, but the problem with that is it causes the price to go parabolic. And you've been in DeFi long enough, I've been in DeFi long enough, we know what happens after something goes parabolic. It goes right back down.
And it burns the protocol liquidity's BUSD.
Yeah, it causes a lot of problems if you go parabolic. So what we're doing is our treasury mechanism, and we'll get to the treasury mechanism here in a minute, but 30% of all the revenue it generates pairs oBURN from the treasury reserves into the LP with fresh BUSD. So what we'll do is, as that token supply in the LP is getting lower and lower due to the deflation, we're going to be able to kind of fight against that and give it a soft, healthier curve instead of a parabola. And that's why we're operating with those tokenomics for the oBURN token itself.
Okay. Cool. $2.5% went into seed funding round. Those were obviously oBURN tokens.
Yep.
Whitelist sale, 2.5%.
Whitelist sale, we wound up not really allocating much of anything to it. We decided to skip pretty much straight towards the pre-sale.
And the public pre-sale, 13%. So I'd like to see that. 13.53% per liquidity pool. Bang up job on the numbers there. 20.75% only burns locked reserves. And that's different than the 16% locked.
The 16.37% locked for future planned addition to our ecosystem?
Yeah, the 20.75% is locked for...
That is locked to either feed into the 15% that's to be paired and added to liquidity. Because again, it all scales depending on how fast the treasury grows in our mechanisms that are farming outside of our ecosystem. If we wind up doing really, really well and getting a lot of profit quickly with that, then we're going to need to be able to pull from that 20.75% towards the 15%. That way we're able to scale with the treasury growth.
Awesome. And I just checked out chainbet.gg. That looks awesome. I'll have to look into that more.
Yeah, definitely. And then our treasury mechanism, once our NFT sales are completed, all 3 stages of them, we should have right around $1 million in our treasury. And a little bit of background on me. I have been managing my own investment portfolio for the last 13 years now. Started off in traditional finance in like the stock market, moved to blue chip cryptos on exchanges about 9 years ago, and then into DeFi about 4 years ago. Did a lot of, I still do a lot of leverage trading on like silver and commodities. Big fan of silver. It's great for leverage trading if you're still relatively new to it. It's very easygoing, just the way that it moves. And I'm leveraging all that experience. And what I'm doing is we are diversifying our own treasury across several different avenues. Some of it will be allocated towards the safe but low yield, like stablecoin farming and lending. A good chunk of it is being allocated towards the new Dyson product that was created by Sphere. If you're not familiar with that, it is a auto balancer for concentrated liquidity strategies on Uniswap and QuickSwap v3. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I know a lot of people aren't familiar with what concentrated liquidity strategies are. And for those of you listening, don't feel embarrassed if you're not familiar with it. It is some pretty high-level DeFi stuff. But typically when you provide LP, you're doing it to the entire pool, right? Concentrated liquidity allows you to apply it to a specific price range. And the way that that works is whenever it is trading in that price range, you are collecting a lot more of the fees from people swapping between like WMATIC, WETH, USDC, WMATIC, etc. And so by being able to capture a lot more of those fees, you get a much nicer APR. Those pools through Dyson tend to average APR, not APY, because that assumes we're compounding the entire time and we're going to be taking our profits every single month. APR tends to range on average between 80 to about 140% APR.
Wow.
Yes, that's the power of concentrated liquidity strategies. And we actually have a mutually beneficial partnership with Sphere Finance where our treasury for OnlyBurns, we're going to pay less in performance fees than everybody else.
Nice.
So we'll get more bang for our buck on that with our treasury. And what we're doing is we are then taking that treasury and all of the revenue that we earn from it, and we're pouring it back into the ecosystem. And I'm going to share a little screenshot showing where those pieces go of the treasury revenue. Second. So, there we go. So 30% of the treasury revenue is actually applied towards the oBURN token itself. We will purchase the oBURN token back from the LP, creating forced price appreciation. And the reason why we're doing that is twofold. One, for juicy price appreciation for our holders. Two, the treasury is not exempt from the taxes on oBURN. So that purchase at the beginning of each month with the funds earned from last month in revenue goes towards preceding the burn wallet with funds for protocols to start fighting over.
Okay.
Another 30%. Oh, thank you. Another 30% of all the revenue generated is utilized to take the oBURN from treasury reserves, pair it with fresh BUSD, and inject it to the LP to deepen the liquidity pool, reducing price impact, volatility, etc. over time. Then we have 10% is allocated towards team salaries, and that goes towards paying project outreach team, mobs in our Discord, additional developers that we look to hire, etc. That, again, not allocated to me, not allocated to our main dev, Sam, who's also publicly doxxed. That goes towards getting additional people, expansion, and growth. And, we'll kick back to our mods who, we'll have to deal with the craziness of the Discord community as we grow larger. 14% is for treasury compound growth, where we'll then take that and reinvest it so that we can grow larger and larger and larger. Then we have the 14% as well. It's another 14%. So at this point, we're at 98% total allocation. Another 14% of that revenue is split up equally across the 3 NFT tiers. So if that would be 4.62% towards people holding tier 1 NFTs, divided by the total supply of tier 1 NFTs, 4.62% towards tier 2, 4.6% towards tier 3. Obviously, since there's less NFTs in those higher tiers, you receive more, since it's the same percentage, just split up across those NFTs. Now, the final 2%, and this is our side.
Sphere buyback. I'm wondering what that entails.
Yeah, so in exchange for them giving us lower performance fees on their Dyson pools for our treasury, so that we're not having to pay, between 8 to 20% on each harvest, we are taking 2% of our treasury revenue. We are buying the Sphere token back, which creates price appreciation for them. Mm-hmm. Then we get to stake our Sphere, farming additional blue chip cryptos. So it's really just another revenue source for us in the long run. And if at any point we do decide we're done farming with the Sphere, we would burn it. So it would create that eventual supply deflation for them as well. So it's kind of you scratch our back, we're scratching yours.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's awesome. That's awesome. OnlyBurns is kind of forcing... I don't know. It's kind of it's forcing a war, for one, but it's on the other hand, it's facilitating unlikely partnerships.
Yeah, I believe that DeFi is a very big place. There's plenty of room at the table for us all to sit and work together. There's no reason why, we see projects, they're sitting in their corner screeching at others and slinging mud, right? Like, there's no reason for it. It can be a dark and scary world out there, so burn your ego at the door. We're all sparks here.
Yeah. Agreed. So what is the end goal? Just a continuous burn for the top 5 protocols every single month, immutable forever, or do you have more plans?
I have a lot of plans, and I'm sure each time I start talking about them, my lead dev starts crying. But yeah, we have a lot of planned out for our ecosystem. So the month of December, because it is the month of giving, instead of burning projects, the burn board will be preceded with pre-vetted charities, and people can vote, and we'll increase it from the top 5 to the top 10. That way, these charities that we have ensured are actually utilizing their money properly, like Ocean Cleanup. You could see other charities on there as well that you may know and be familiar with. I know the YouTuber content creator Yabonks, he has an animal sanctuary, and we'd love to see his charity on that burn board as well for the month of December. And that's our way of giving back, right? And then as far as additional aspects to our ecosystem, I know I have teased it before in AMAs, and I have actually in another AMA that we had a couple people listening into, I shared the name for it. But once that first treasury that we discussed earlier and all the mechanics and how it works, once that hits that million mark, we're going to be pouring revenue that we generate and earn into a second treasury. The purpose of this second treasury is it will also be farming in similar methods to what we discussed the first treasury. The difference is we are creating a single staking pool called Tinder. Another little tongue-in-cheek there. I know you slip of the tongue referred to OnlyBurns as OnlyFans earlier, and that is intentional. It's a little tongue-in-cheek.
And now you're launching Grinder. Okay.
Tinder, but yes. Because Tinder is used for starting fires, is it not?
That's right. It's a good name, yeah.
Yeah. So the Tinder staking pool, people will be able to take their oBURN and deposit it into the Tinder pool. No deposit tax, no withdrawal tax, not the U.S. government. I'm not going to tax you on something you already paid a tax on to buy.
Right.
And the purpose of the Tinder pool is 100% of the revenue that the second treasury generates will be deposited into the Tinder pool and then distributed across everyone who is staking their oBURN in the Tinder pool based off their percentage of the pool. So if the treasury earned, if the second treasury earned $100,000 last month, just keeping numbers simple, and you owned, 1% of the pool, based off of the oBURN that you had staked in there, then you would earn $1,000 that month.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Thank you. Feel free to steal it, I suppose. But what we're doing is we wanted to make sure our token was deflationary, had price appreciation baked into it, and then you had the ability to earn real yield off of it. And the difference with this is instead of taking a token like stablecoins and farming them yourself or something like that, you would have oBURN, which is deflationary with price appreciation that you're also earning revenue off of. So one of the protocols, they actually bought into the pre-sale with the sole purpose of waiting until that comes out, so that they would have a larger percentage of that supply deposited into the Tinder pool because they got their tokens so cheap.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Tinder pool, and I didn't buy into the pre-sale to put it towards any vote. I bought it just for speculation, just to hold on to. Because if this is a success and BurnWars are a big thing, oBURN should get a pretty great price tag, in my opinion.
That's what we're shooting for. I would be like, I've got mechanisms planned out for our ecosystem when our total supply deflates by 70% that we can institute. So we're factoring that, especially in the beginning, we will see a sharp supply decrease just due to protocols buying into the pre-sale to then burn it and vote, right? People buying the pre-sales from communities that want to vote for their projects, especially when the token goes live. And then when we have our hello world moment and we do those big buyback and burns after voting closes end of February, that's going to be great marketing, great word of mouth marketing as well. Because if you're in a project and all of a sudden your token price goes up 20, 30, 40%, depending on the project that you're in, and if you got first, second, third place, are you not going to then go to the other protocols that you have a bag in and say, yo, look what it just did over here. Maybe we should take a closer look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have whole communities buying the oBURN token to vote for that community with the token, what's the difference of a protocol offering a single stake pool just to make life easier for their community? Just stick it in the pool as long as there's no lock.
So you're I assume you're referring to if Lodge Capital and OnlyBurns essentially create a single staking pool where you could earn from each other's tokens.
Well, not even necessarily me or the both of us, just any protocol making a single stake pool for oBURN, just like you would for Cake or any other token.
Yeah, well, I mean, a protocol could do that, right? They could buy some oBURN and then they could create a staking pool where that oBURN is distributed to their members if their members are staking.
No, I mean they'll earn the protocol token of the protocol that opens the pool. Like if Lodge were to do it, we would open a single stake oBURN pool. Users deposit oBURN. We'll give them Lodge in return.
Yeah, you could do that.
And we use that oBURN to vote for the burn.
Yeah, you could do that. You know, that is entirely up to the protocols. You know, if they're grabbing some oBURN and they want to institute a single staking pool with the tokens that they have, they could do that. Yeah.
Well, what I'm asking is, if could the users of a community all pool together into a single stake pool their oBURN, and can that pot of oBURN be used for voting?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So there is a protocol that actually has a plan to do something just like that.
Yeah.
They want to grab a tier 3 NFT. And what they're going to do with that tier 3 NFT is they're going to have essentially a sacrifice shrine, right? Where their community members send the oBURN that they have to that central pool, that wallet that holds the tier 3 NFT. And then the treasury for that protocol is then going to do the voting, and it's going to double the governance vote weight of their entire community. So yeah,
and that's allowed.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is definitely allowed, right?
Yeah. There are many different strategies that protocols and communities can take with our ecosystem. It's all about who's, and this is why I say it's definitely not just straight pay to win, right? Because you have a big protocol, they come in, they do a buy and they do a burn, and then they burn vote to vote for themselves, and then they're off in the wind or whatever, right? Because they're too busy with whatever they're doing. Meanwhile, you could have a smaller or medium-sized protocol who's strategizing, who's like, oh, if I do this, it's going to give me a lot more firepower. It's kind of like if you ever played an RTS strategy game like Age of Empires. You know, if you just send a horde of men at arms, you know, you're going to get decimated by the enemy who has a well-balanced setup of troops.
Right. Paying surely helps, but you need skill.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I love the idea. I like DeFi that I haven't seen before. That's what, that's why we're doing our project. That's why I like OnlyBurns. That's why we're projects are few and far between that are doing things that have not been done before. So the more I can talk to projects like this, I think the better DeFi becomes, because I think we're giving ourselves a bad name. Not us, but just the degens in the space and the paper hands. I think crypto's getting a bad name.
Crypto. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I think the only thing to combat the bad rap that crypto is getting is the innovation and the technology that is a product. The flower, while degenerate is the thorns, the innovation is the flower of DeFi, and hopefully that is our saving grace here. And it always has been. Every DeFi summer has been getting better. So I love it.
Each time we wind up moving into the bear market, or as I like to say, the builders market, we get rid of more of the dead weight,
Yep.
And DeFi really is the Wild West right now. You have the outlaws, of course, the people who are just trying to steal money from others. They're quick, smash and grab, complete rugs. And then you have the builders who are trying to set up the towns around a new resource that was discovered, or trying to, lay down new infrastructure. And that is what makes DeFi so exciting, is the fact that there is that room for innovation and growth.
Yeah, agreed. Any closing words? Anything else you want to point out? Links, dates.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm just going to drop. Oh, I see Burn Juice is already dropping some links. We just wanted to throw out there, we do have a poker tournament this Saturday for our community. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
It is in our announcements, or our minor announcements, I believe.
Is it in your events?
It is in the events as well.
Okay. Cool.
And the first, second, and third place are winning some BUSD as a prize. So be sure to tune in. And join us in a friendly game of poker.
That sounds like fun. Yeah, I love a game of poker.
Yeah, me too. And apparently, I'm representing OnlyBurns in the next Pillars of DeFi, poker tournament. So I figured I better get my practice up. But yeah, so our pre-sale does end tomorrow. If you are interested in grabbing your oBURN at the low fixed pre-sale price, before then would be the time to do it. Pre-sale link is right there on our website. It's a big front, red button. Can't miss it.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to having some fun and just setting a lot of things on fire.
And then you're launching on Kyoto swap immediately after pre-sale ends, or?
Yeah, there's going to be like a couple hour delay right there after pre-sale ends. Users will be able to then claim their tokens in the that they bought during the pre-sale, while we situate everything and get everything set up, like create the LPs, blah 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 blah. Right.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Great chat. Love your protocol.
Thank you. And
your team's efficient with all the links. And had a great chat. This is my first AMA here in this server, so couldn't ask for a better project, because I like OnlyBurns, and you and I have chatted in the past, and so it's cool to have you, and it's cool. It's going to be cool to be on your server talking about Large Capital. I don't know the date, but soon.
We'll get you set up.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you having us over here today. And I look forward to chatting with you on our Discord when you come to tell our people about what Large Capital is building.
Sounds good. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for the chat, Cyril. Thanks for all of the links, OnlyBurns team, and looking forward to another AMA as soon as things get kicked off. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good night.